Hello and welcome to Geek at Play Studio Tutorials. So in this tutorial, what I want to do is finishing. Let's look overall in our fractal procedure terrain. Okay, we go ahead and look on what other one function we have. I don't want to spend that much time on them, so probably best if we just go start using. Most of those fractals we was looking actually inside our function editor series tutorials. Overall, very fast. So we have it start with simple. We have a basic repeater that is you can use it for the terrains, but it doesn't produce very realistic look. So you can see it from here, and but it is useful when you start combining different type of terrains together. So you can mix them and applying, and all options is very similar. Okay, except you have a special area for your filters which apply altitude. Okay, next we have the simple fractal, what we looked before, grainy fractal. This is kind of very nice if you start using rocks mostly with mixed together. Okay, next we have the terrain fractal that we looked before. We have a fast Perlin fractal that is based on highly optimized simple fractal node. Okay, next what we have it variable roughness fractal, which is very similar. It's based on a simple fractal, except now we have a variable roughness area where we can modify those and start affecting on a smoothness level and a creep in options, similar to what we have before. Okay, we have a variable noise fractal and three noises fractal, and actually three noises fractal, it's a have a lot of options, so you can see from here. And previously, actually I like to use this one before the terrain fractal, but I think in many cases terrain fractal one of the nice addition, and combining terrain fractal with a new node that was introduced in a viewpoint 8, and this is let me show you. Okay, let me go scroll a little bit down, so we'll go right filters, and under is it's a Strutter. So this is a new filter was introduced, which is allowed us producing very realistic strata type rock formation and combining. And again, this one is probably will cover separate tutorials just how to use this filter. It's a little bit complex, but it will give it very realistic rock. So in combining with two of these, you can achieve mountains look like sliding some in desert, maybe like Utah or other places. Okay, so this is very fast overview of what kind of fractal we have it. As well, if you wanted, the fractals is also based. Let's go to the simple fractal, and you can notice most fractal they base it on a noise, and we'll look on our first tutorial when which type of noise we can use it here. But it's also meaning you can not just lock yourself by using necessary this fractal. You always just can create separate noise and combine them together. So one of the greatest things, if you start exploring it, is explore with a different type of option, combine, mix them together, see how they work. And again, what I try to in this tutorials, it's kind of explain how those pieces, those small pieces of the Legos, they're working, so you can put together the whatever you like it, or whatever is your imagination going for. Okay, so as well, any of this node you can tie it up to the position, or you also have a lot of new input nodes was introducing, so you can base it on how I showed before, the distance to the cameras, so you can set meta value related to this, to the distance, or to any other options. Okay, and also other things you can also affecting by inserting filters, and with the filters you can also modify the shape or of your altitude. So for example, if we go right here and we just let's go ahead, drop down a little bit, create a little bit small adjustments. Okay, on altitude. So in that case, you can also affect what part of the terrain will be affecting based on your altitude shape for your terrain. So you can notice right now we only will affecting lower level of our altitude based on the filter which is passed down to our blender. Okay, so let's go ahead. An example right in this one, we can go ahead, insert filter right here. Let's go to reset our filter. Anytime, by the way, when you work with filter, if you can just double time click and load it. Already pre-made this. You can right click and do this way, load it. You can also save your filter if you like it, or if you click edit, you can open your filter and modifying by double time clicking on the lines or on some areas. This will add points, and for example, you can make more rigid looking terrain. So in that case, we'll just create it right here like rigid things for our terrain on altitude. Okay, let's go on our blender all the way to this point. So for example, right here, you can see how we did it with blending with the other. We created more rigid look. Of course, in a blender, it's your ratio. It's going all the way to one or all the way to another side, or mix it between. And also, you can everywhere where you see the lighting, it can connect to some other function driving, like for example your radio. If you click right here and you add maybe external dependency to maybe camera or some other object. So okay, let's do one thing. Okay, create some orb. Let's place it right here. So for example, we have it. Okay, let's create external dependency, and we set this one to position for our sphere. Okay, again, remember position, it will give it us an XYZ, so we need it's come out vector. And if you don't know all this, when you put your mouse over, it's actually give you help, and it's tell you that output vector, and if it's have an input or output number on this one. So let's go ahead right here. We'll add math node, and we'll change this to the conversion vector operation, and we're going to decompressor. Okay, what is actual decompressor? It's take a vector value and give me output in a numbers, and you can see it's XYZ number. The one I want actually tied to the Z, the height. So we'll go check and select here, and it will prompt you. So we'll go to the Z. Again, couple things when we do this, because the number is not necessary, and value we have it here, if you remember, from -1 to 1, if I'm right. So if you forget, let's click, oops, just create a blender, and right here you can notice right here actually 0 to 1. So we have it. Let's click on the middle, and we'll go ahead add a map or a smooth map, but map in this case will be. And what map does is take any value we allowed to came, and we convert to the value we want output. So 0 to 1 is what value we want here. Okay, but input, because Z can be any different, we'll go ahead from maybe put it from 0 to 200. Okay, on that case, if we moving our object, our terrain will change as well with this. You can notice right here. So if we go down more, so our terrain start changing. Okay, and we go even more down to the 0 now. So, and you can notice our terrain right now kind of flat. Anyway, and it's a conversion between two terrains kind of changing, but overall same way. With the power of the function editor and external, you can actually create crater inside that from falling meteor or something and animate that way, or add, for example, erosion to your terrain, base it on sun or some other object. Okay, thank you for watching this tutorial from Geek at Play Studio, and please visit us on the web is www.geekatplay.com.